Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Comfy Nest with Grace. It is Tuesday night, time for late night crafting. We're going to work on this book that I'm trying to salvage, this broken junk journal that was just too pretty to just throw away, right? It's just too pretty, and I put too much effort into it as it was. So earlier in the week, we were working on salvaging that really pretty little junk journal. So I'm going to keep doing that tonight, and I hope to have some company. So if you are here, make sure that you say hello. Let me know that you're here. I've got both cameras going. So you will see both tonight, both the table cam and me. So much fun. I love this setup, and I know that so many of you have commented that you like it. So I'm glad it works out that we can do this. Hey, Mary. Hey, Janet. Hello, Missy. There's Carrie. Hi, guys. Welcome. So I got some mail, you guys. Well, I ordered a couple of books on Amazon, art books, and I'm excited. And I got my Daphne's diary. So I just, they showed up. So I thought I'd just say, hey, look, I got some books. We're going to journal, but they're here and they were sitting on my desk. So I thought, why not show them to you? My newest books for my collection. So I've been making a few adjustments in my room, and things are a little funky yet for me because I have a whole new table in here with my sewing machine, which I'm so excited about. I'll be incorporating now more like sewing, machine sewing into my projects because I love it so much. Anyway, the books. So let me get this bigger. I think I can do this. Yeah, so you can see this bigger. I picked up Mixed Media Girls by Susie Blue. I just discovered her, and I absolutely love this style so much. Any artist that has this whimsical, colorful style, I'm super attracted to their work. And I would love to be doing more girls. I've done a few in the past, especially in the Craft Therapy Club, but I would love to be doing some more girls. So this book is about mixed media girls, drawing, painting, and fanciful adornments from start to finish. So I'm excited about that. So I got that. And then I also got Jane Davenport. Now, this is not what I expected at all, I will say. It's a beautiful book, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to show you. It really is like an adult art book, like workbook, I should say. Hey, hello there from the Vintage Daisy. Welcome. Hi, Debbie. Happy Tuesday, Janet. Welcome. There's Vicky. Verdana, welcome back then. She says, I haven't seen you in a while. Well, welcome back. Kimberly, you too. Hello, Judith and Sandra and Lori and Teresa. It's like romper room. I like to say hi to everybody. Okay, this book, I'm a really big fan of Jane Davenport too. Because I love her whimsical girls. I love the style. Karen Campbell. There's just so many artists out there who do whimsical girls. And I love them. Have I said that in the last 5 minutes? But this book is not at all what I expected it to be. You guys, it's more like a workbook. She even has in the front, she calls it the happy hour timesheet. And it says, life is busy, but your creativity is important. Whether you can take a block of time or gather little snippets here and there, track your creative time. With this timesheet, get in 60 minutes a week, and it's called happy hour. She calls that happy hour, 60 minutes of creative time. And I never heard that concept, but I love it. So I thought I'd share that with you. But her book, it is literally like an adult's coloring book. This is not what I thought it was. I thought it was more like Susie Blue's book, which is like step 1, step 2, step 3. Here are the supplies. Here's what you need. Here's a tip. Let's do the project together. I thought it was more like layering 101, transparent versus opaque. I love to read about this stuff. I love to do this stuff. I love to study this stuff. This isn't really that kind of book, I don't think. It has so much of her art in here. I'm not even going to want. It's so pretty. Even in black and white, I don't want to mess with that, man. I don't want to mess with it. I love her stuff. I just think it's so cool. I mean, come on, girls. Do you guys know Jane Davenport? Do you follow her? This says, breathe life into your dreams with your creativity. That's what this says here. It says, the world lies between the hands of those who have the courage to dream and who take the risk of living out their dreams, each according to his or her talent. I mean, come on, beautiful. Yeah. Shauna, I'm going to have to photocopy it. I won't be able to bring myself. Am I the only one? I mean, they're all perforated pages. So I pull this page out. I could color this page. I could add it to one of my art journals, but then this would get lost, and that's really pretty. So anyway, am I the only one? I could always buy another book. I guess I should remind myself of that. It's not like it's the last of her copies in the world. I got it on Amazon. It wasn't anything, difficult to find. It does say Happy Hour Art Journal, Whimsical Girls. It says 100 specialty art papers, stickers, and inspiring drawings to paint, color, and customize. I don't know where the stickers are. Let's find them. And that's interesting because these pages, these are like watercolor paper. Hear how thick that is? Where these ones up here are not that thick. Interesting. These ones in the back change the texture and the thickness of the paper. I think I found the stickers though. Let's see. Yeah, back here. Oh, and tissue paper. Oh, decoupage paper, girlfriends. Now you're talking my language. What? So we went from really thick watercolor paper to really thin. You can hear it. You can just hear the difference. Decoupage papers. Oh, brilliant. And then the stickers are in the back. Let's look at them again. I love Karen Campbell, Shauna. I really do. And I've taken a few of Karen Campbell's classes. Anyway, like, I just want to be in my room with my books. I just want to sit here and drink tea and look at my books. Oh, I'm such a nerd. I'm such a little nerd about this stuff. I know, Teresa. Isn't that a fun book? Anyway, I'm going to put them in. So I don't know if you know, in my Amazon store, I do have a section called books. And these are the kind of books you're going to find in there. The ones that I've purchased. I do not put books in my Amazon stores, the sections in my store. I don't put things there unless I've used them. So the books that are there, I actually literally have myself. So these will be going in my Amazon book section along with all the others. Yay. Okay, that's being on the floor. We're going to work on our salvaged junk journals. So we have this junk journal that got broken down. Let me get you bigger on the table. Yeah, so you can see better on the table. Someone had a sad face. Who has a sad face reaction? Jennifer, don't be sad. You don't know Susie Blue? I just discovered her myself. I was looking for whimsical girl books and found her. So you may look into her. She does have a Facebook channel and a YouTube channel. Joanne says, I have some more books and never did anything. Oh, I love the 10 minutes a day or just a little bit of time every day to create one happy hour for yourself every week in creativity. Either you get the hour in all at once or you do 2 half-hour sessions, or I just love that idea, Jane Davenport. Very smart. Could you explain what a hinge is on a journal? I don't know what you mean, Della. Say more about it. Say more about the hinge that you're asking me about. Hand pink waving. Lori. Hey, Joy. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Connie says, I love my books like that. They're a treasure. They're just full of beauty. Kelly Ray. I just love Kelly Ray Roberts too. I do too. The Vintage Daisy is saying, I love Kelly Ray Roberts. I love her work too. What do you mean you miss her? Did she go out of, is she not doing art anymore? Or what's the scope? She has a lot of books out there. I own some of her books too. Daphne's Diary. Yes. Do you want to see it, Karen? Here, I can open it. Hold on. I got to bend down on the floor and get it. Daphne's Diary. This is the newest one. Just got it. I just got it. Horoscope poster, vintage recipes, creative inspiration, and agenda stickers. I mean, I could do a quick, can't go through all of the pages. This has more writing, of course. It's a magazine. The graphics are always beautiful, though. Even like the articles have beautiful graphics on the pages that you could use in books if you wanted to. This book is, it's just, this magazine is always so colorful and full of beautiful images. Things that you can cut out. Like that's a cutout, right? So see, that's a journaling spot there. And then the beautiful images on the other side. So those are die cuts. You actually poke those out to use them. So this magazine is pretty cool. The recipes, I look at them. I never make them. But these are cutouts too. You can actually pull the recipes out. Here's a bunch of stickers. This is a beautiful magazine. I mean, it definitely is worth, it's more expensive, but it's definitely worth it. Warming winter drinks. Now look at how pretty look at how pretty the pages. They don't just tell you, here's a spicy Indian chai recipe. Look at how pretty it is. Gingerbread latte. Anyway, yes, so lots of goodness in here. I don't need to be seeing my address on that little envelope. Those are all little tags. Cute. Oh, labels. They're little labels. Let's see, put this one on the olive oil. But they're all cut out labels. So they actually give you, beside the fact that you get articles, you get recipes, they have a section on travel. You also get art, stuff for your art, stuff for creating with. This is a gift wrap. This page is on China Tower. It's about the blue and white China. Oh, they're making a tower out of that blue and white china, gluing it together. That's an actual project. Anyway, there's the there in the Netherlands. It's the travel page. It's about the Netherlands. New Year's resolutions. But look at all the beautiful little illustrations in here. These are New Year's resolutions, apparently. A week with no television. And so look at how pretty the television is that they give us. Look at the sneakers. Go for a walk every day. There's your inspiration. Just beautiful. Anyway, let's get to our project. Let's get crafty. All right, let's see. I got to check comments. Those are so expensive. Yeah, the magazine is expensive, but I really feel like it's worth it. I actually, it's one of those things too. Like I have the book, I have Daphne's Diary, and I have a bunch of them now because I've subscribed. I think I probably have 5 or 6 of them now. I don't even want to rip anything out of them. They're so pretty. I'm such a nerd. Well, you were talking about it in a book of a video of yours. I believe you were making a book journal. Like the hinge, meaning like the fold spot, the binding, the spot where you hinge it closed. That's probably what I was talking about. This place where you close it. It's actually a book binding, but it doesn't look like a book because it's just so thin, right? It's not like a real book that actually has a binding like that. To me, it is technically a binding, but it's really more a hinge. It's just a open and close. That's probably what I was referring to. Thanks for helping me. Karen, yeah, that's a magazine. Daphne's Diary is a magazine you can subscribe to. Let's see. Which signature and attach it with tape so she can flip it. Just Della Murphy, when she took a single sheet and attached it to tape so she can flip it by just flying. Okay, by attaching it to a sheet. So this is what Janice is thinking I was talking about, is one of these. Okay, so these are parts of my book and parts of them were damaged. So this is one page, one set actually of 2 pages that will go in the book. This is part of the signature. A signature is a collection of pages. So here's 2 pages that will go into the signature. And I had a number of pages that the holes got all messed up. Can you see? I cannot sew this into anything because the holes aren't right. They're like off the edge of the paper. See that? They were all misaligned. Like that one is good. That one I could put something in that hole. See the hole right there? I could use that hole. It's like right on the edge, but I could use it. These ones are damaged though. So I had a bunch of these pages in my book that were damaged because the holes were incorrect, broken. My fault, totally my fault, user error. So I pulled them apart, and then I took a couple of these single, they're already decorated, and I don't just want to throw them out. I want to keep them. So instead of just throwing them out, I added them to another piece of paper. So this was another piece of paper that will go in the signature. And I created this hinge, this fold, by attaching it with washi tape on both sides. Well, on this one, I did washi tape on one side, the foiled washi tape. And on this side, I used a piece of book paper and glued that in to hold this single piece of decorative paper. It was just like this one. Where did I put it, girls? It's just like this little damaged one. It was all by itself and too pretty to just throw away. So instead of throwing it away, I created a new section of the book with one piece of paper and that really pretty section that was damaged, and I hinged it in. I taped it in, hinged it. So thank you, Janice, for helping us to demystify what we were talking about there. Let's see. All right. You never know what to do with the poster. I pulled one out. It had all butterflies in it, Marsha. I'm going to hang it in my office. It's just so pretty. Like a flip out. Yeah, I suppose you could call it a flip out too. You know, and it's funny because don't we all have different language for these things? Yeah, it's the single page I added with washi tape. You got it, Anne. Okay. But anything like, I don't think of this. It is technically going to be the binding of this book. And mind you, look at my sewing. Look at my wacky machine stitching all the way around. I love that the edges, I love that it's a white thread on a dark purple background paper. And I like that I got like wacky lines. Okay. That is helping me make my pocket. Now I had glued here, but then I thought it'd be really pretty to have that decorative stitch. So I added it on. And actually this little guy, where did you go, sir? I'm going to make a tag out of this. This is going to be like a journaling spot or a place where you can put a picture or tickets or something that you want to keep. And it's going to go in one of these pockets. So I'm going to put something on the top of that. In fact, let's just do it now. I had pulled out some coffee dyed cheesecloth. And I think I'm going to use a piece of this to make a little tie. Let's grab a chunk of this. To make a little tie for my tag here. And I have to just decide how exactly do I want to apply this on here. So I have a couple of ideas. I was thinking I could just make a V out of this and staple it on here and then cut it to the length that I wanted. That was my original thought, just to give it a little like a place to tug on it and pull it. I could also, sometimes I do this where I fold a piece of burlap or ribbon or cheesecloth. In this instance, you fold it in half to make it about the size you want, and then you attach it so that you still have, it's almost like a little handle. You're going to still have this amount of fabric up top here that once you attach it becomes the little pole. I like that better. So let's do this. And oh gosh, I've been stapling this. I've been stapling them on. It's just so easy, right? But let me grab some Fabri-Tac. Where's my Fabri-Tac? I got some new bottles for my Fabri-Tac, but I forgot to buy the lids for the bottles, so I can't even use it yet. Okay, hold on. Before you come out and play, I better just, I don't want to get Fabri-Tac on anything else. So let's move that aside. This is going to go here. I like that it's ratty cheesecloth that is dyed, coffee dyed, because it's grungy. So I like that. You guys, someone asked me, I know I told you this recently. Someone said to me in a comment, like, why do you always do vintage and grungy? Like, why no vibrant colors? You guys, I love vibrant colors. Do you see all of the books that I buy? They're all vibrant. So I should be doing more of it. I need to challenge myself to do more because I love it so much. We've got to get that glue to go all the way through that cheesecloth. It's not sticking yet. This glue takes a hot minute to set. It really does. But I'm using the glue. I'm still going to staple. But I'm putting the glue on there as an added, like, let's make sure this thing doesn't fall apart. Okay, the thing with the stapler, I'm going to put it right here, the staple. It is across the room. So I'm going to go get it. Like I said, I'm rearranging things, girls. Sorry about that. I had to go grab it. I'm rearranging things in here. And I actually bought some new organization pieces from Jane Davenport's website. Organizational like boxes and things for my table. So I'm waiting for those to come in. Okay, we have a bright green staple in there. I don't think I want it to be bright green. The rest of the book has some purple in it. So why don't we do purple? That would be unexpected because this is kind of vintagey. I'm going to put the green away. I have silver ones too, like regular silver, but I love the idea of a colored staple. Why not? Just to add something different. So we're going to, what's going to be the front here? I think these two dudes are going to be the front. And we just got a little staple in there just to reinforce with the glue. I love that it's ratty. I love that it's all frayed. This is going to go in one of these pockets as a little, and I, you know, like I talked about last time we worked on this broken journal, I left the broken parts on the pages that were broken. This is my way of like remembering the fact that this is a like a salvaged, a redo, because Gracie goofed up. It's a redo. So I like the fact that I'm keeping that in there. That just kind of a little precious to me. Okay, here's one of the ones with the hinge. Here's another one that was, this was a damaged, this middle one was a damaged piece, but I didn't want to lose it. So I had to find a way to put it in the book. And so I attached it with the washi tape on one side, washi tape on the other side, different washi tapes, but to create that, there's that word, that hinge, so that that flip works in there, and it just added another page to our book. Okay. So right now I have, this is the other hinge that we created. And I was thinking to myself, I have one page for the signature, 2 pages for the signature, 3 pages for the signature, except this one has a flip. So it's like 3.5 pages. And these are all cardstock. So cardstock number 1, and on all of the pages, I've added more cardstock in a variety of ways and more papers. Here's 3 in here. I created folders and tuck spots with more cardstock. So here's another one. And this has like a swatch of fabric right here. I might stamp something on that. Maybe I'll stamp a little word on there or something. So that's a swatch of fabric. This one has this little pocket here. Nothing in it, but there's a pocket there and there's a pocket on this side. So the reason I'm bringing all these pockets up and the fact that I used cardstock is because this is rather heavy. These 3 pages, well, 3.5 pages, is actually rather heavy for putting in this little cover. This is the cover. And what I have here is actually feeling pretty heavy to sew in. So I'm going to limit it to these 3 for the signature that's getting sewn in. And then I'm going to show you what I'll do with that here in a minute. But maybe what I should do is get ready to sew, because that's really putting this thing together. Once I get this sewn in, we can, do more finalizing of the book. So that's going to go right there. Let me grab my pokey tool. I am not using, the reason the other one got broken is I used a hole punch. When I first started making books, you guys, when I first started making books, I used a hole punch, and I discovered really quickly that I don't like using a hole punch in my books. One, I don't feel like I have a lot of control of where the hole goes. That's just me. That's user error. That has nothing to do with the hole punch. The hole punch is perfectly fine. I'm just not a really fussy person about stuff. So I don't like to measure. I like to eyeball things. So I can see where the hole is going better with my pokey tool. It's actually called an awl, A-W-L. So if somebody puts in the comments, that would be really funny. Put in the comments, pokey tool equals awl, so that those who are watching are like, what the heck is a pokey tool? We're putting it in the comments. Someone's going to do that for me, right? Pokey tool equals awl, A-W-L. I use a pokey tool because I feel like I have more control, and I can control how big the hole is. If you notice on the pokey tool, on the awl, you have a really fine point here, and then as we go up the shaft of the pokey tool, it gets wider, so you can control how big that hole is. And I like small holes in my books because then your pages don't wiggle around on you and they're not loose in the book. So that's kind of what I like. The pokey tool equals the awl. Good job. Look at you guys. Katana did it and Debbie did it. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. All right, let's grab some thread and a pokey tool, and we're gonna poke some holes in here and sew this together. So we need our little self-healing mat, because this is sharp. We're going to be poking holes, and I don't want to damage the table. So if you don't have a mat and you're at home and you want to play with a book and try to sew it together, go for it, girl. Go for it. Go for it. I would say just put like a piece of cardboard or something behind your project so that you don't poke your table with your pokey tool. You guys are the best. Janice got it in there. It's not an ice pick. I mean, you could use it for an ice pick, but it's considered an awl, A-W-L, which like literally they sell it like Ace Hardware and stuff. You get at the hardware store. I don't know what the difference is though. Ice picks are usually really cute. Ice picks can be like real, like decorative. Right? Like they make decorative scissors now, which is like on my wish list, is a pair of pretty decorative little scissors. But I have like utility scissors. They're not very pretty. They do their job, but they're not very pretty. All right, for this, I'm going to stand up because I want to stand over the project so I can see what I'm doing here. Let me get you bigger on the table too. There we go. Okay, so as long as these three are lined up, some people use clips. I usually don't. There's nothing real complicated here. These are all three of these are the same exact height, the same exact size. So when I do this, I know they're all lined up height-wise. And I want to make sure, I call it the V. I want to make sure that this spot right here where my finger is rubbing, that has a really good contact and they're all unified. Okay, because you want your book to be unified. Now, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add to the V, we're going to add this other layer, which is the cover. Now, I have plenty of room. The first cover, where's my first cover? The first cover I did was the same exact piece of 12 by 12 paper. You can see it. It's the same exact piece of paper. It's a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And I folded and cut this one so that it had a hinge, and you can see my signature fit like exactly in there, like it just fit in there. Okay, this one I decided to go bigger because I have a really fun plan for these spots here, but I want to be able to see my stitching up here. I want to see the stitching. So I'm going to make sure that my book pages, my signature, is sewn in here low enough that I don't hide my stitching up there. Okay, so we're going to line these up. And then what I'd like to do is I hold it over my board and I start in my middle hole. Now we can see, here's my pocket. See, this is where my paper is for my pocket. That is not going to get poked. The pokey tool is going to it's going to go right above that. If I go on the center of this set of pages, the center would be right at about where that line is for the folder, like right where that fold is for that folder. So I'm going to go right above that and I'm going to poke through. Okay. And the goal is to poke through right in the middle of that V. You want to be right, like dead in the middle. And that's where I was wrong on the last one. You can see my little pokey tool went through. We're going to make 3 of these holes. And you see, I'm not measuring a stinking thing. It's unlike me to measure. Although in the craft therapy club, we made some really elaborate books with an accordion binding, and that had to be measured. So I showed how to, I can do it. I just don't like doing it. I showed how to measure. I showed how to make a template so that I think there were 6 signatures in that book that we did in the craft therapy club. One of the months that, we do a new workshop every month. And that one I gave measurements. We did a template so that everybody could follow along and make sure their books were completely straight and all the signatures were straight. This one only has 1 signature, so I don't feel a huge need. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without a needle. My waxed thread is thin enough and it doesn't fray at all. It's waxed. So that's the beauty of working with waxed thread. I'm going to try to get it through here and just do this without worrying about a needle. But now I'm thinking, I think I want this on the outside. I think I want my string on the outside today. Sometimes I do it on the inside, sometimes on the outside. Let's start on the outside today. I'm going to poke that through without a needle. And this is just a basic stitch. Like, I think it's called a basic pamphlet stitch in the world of bookmaking. I'm making sure my holes are really established and they're really in place, like where they're supposed to be. And we're going to use all 3 holes. A needle is easier, probably, but I don't need it, so I'm not going to go dig it out. It's again across the room because I changed everything up in here. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Terry, we sure can. We sure can do a waterfowl fall. I don't do them very often, but we sure could do one. They're pretty fun and easy. You just have to understand the basic construction of one. That's a great idea. I love the suggestion. Yeah, if you guys have other suggestions of things that you want to see done, let me know. We're doing another mixed media. Oh, this one's having trouble going through. Come on. You know what it is? It's my old eyes, girlfriends. Jeez, I can't see. Literally can't see it. Where are my readers when I need them? Come on. Help a girl out. It's brown. I'm trying to get brown thread in on a brown piece of paper and my eyes are gone. What? What are you trying to show me? All right, now I've wiggled everything. Did it go through? No. Hold on, girls. I gotta get my V reestablished. My hole is right here. Everything's in place. I just can't see a darn thing. If I turn my light on in here, my camera light on, it is so bright it blinds me, you guys. I got lots of issues with my eyes, clearly. All right, there it is. Came through. One more and we're all done here, and then we can tie it together. Back through the middle. I want to go back through the middle, but I don't want to split my other thread. So when you're putting your pokey tool or needle in that hole, just be careful not to split the thread that's already in there. There we go. It's in. Okay, so nice and tight. You want to make sure you pull so these are nice and tight. And then we're going to tie. That easy. I'm leaving this on the outside because I thought it would be kind of fun to have a dangly. Maybe we'll do a little dangly later, but it is sewn in. I even got it. Oh, let's make sure all our pages are right side up. That nothing is upside down, because I've been known to do that before too. Okay, the book is together. The basic part of the book is together. This little tag is going to live in one of these spots. That looks nice, right? I have decorated all these pages, so they're pretty. They're in pretty good shape as they are. Oh, gee, yeah, good for you. Yes, and you can follow along with the videos. That's the real fun part. Good for you. This could have a little embellishment on it, of course. But now with this one, because I feel like it's so heavy with what we've got in there already. I was thinking that this one could be another mini book that's going to go in here. It fits so perfectly. Then what I can do is I can decorate the front of this like it's its own little mini book. I love this page so much. I love it. It has this tag. I created a little pocket or tuck spot for something in that tag, and I love it so much. However, it's so plain on the front. And actually, where's my book? I have to salvage this cluster because I absolutely love it. It has coffee stained paper, decorative paper, rice paper. There's a piece of rice paper in here. And then this beautiful bird. And I want to salvage this. This could go either on the front of the book, or it could go on the front of this little one. It has a little pink in the rice paper. So I got to figure out a way to get this off here. This is about salvaging, ladies. Can we get this? Can we just pull? Oh, I don't want to rip it. All right. As long as it doesn't damage, I don't mind damaging the cover because this is already damaged, and maybe I'll be able to salvage parts of it, but the cover itself is pretty badly damaged. The holes were pretty messed up. So I don't mind like damaging the brown paper. I'm trying to salvage the cluster. I might lose it. I might lose it. It is really stuck on there well. Oh, all right, let's see if we can get a little scraper. Will this help at all? Come on. I'm going to cut. I could cut around it because I won't end up using this pocket. Won't get used. This little piece of papers can come out. That makes me sad. I'm going to lose my little measuring, but maybe I could salvage that too. All right. We're doing it, girls. We're committing. I'm just going to cut it out, friends, because I don't want to lose it. And so what if there's extra paper on the back of it when we sew it down? Or we could sew it down or glue it down. Did you ever eat those dot candies that you had to pull off the paper? This reminds me of trying to pull off a dot candy. All right, there's my cluster. That's so sad. I don't think I want it there though. Now that I see it there. Oh, it's better there. It matches way better on this piece. Or we could put it up here. Okay, I had pulled out, where's my little embellishment? I had pulled out, uh-oh, Gracie grew. It was here, girls. Hold on, hold the presses. I have a metal embellishment that I was going to glue on the front of my book. Oh, man. Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. Wow, what do you think of that? Pretty, right? Like, how pretty would that be on there? Just like an unexpected little embellishment. But this is too small now for the front of this book. It wasn't too small for this one because this one was so much smaller. So I think this is going to have to go right here. I think that little birdie is going to have to live right there, and I'm totally cool with that. Then I'm going to pull out some of my snippet rolls. Let's just see. I don't think I want to add any more bulk. I was going to add a little piece of fabric, but honestly, I don't think I want to add any more bulk to this book because it's getting pretty thick. You do like it on the cover, Missy? It feels a little bit small to me. Where are my snippet rolls? The other thing I really wanted to incorporate in here. Oh yeah, remember these, you guys? Oh, I cut these out with the subscribers, Facebook subscribers. Those of you who are subscribing to the page, I give, I hang out with them, exclusive content just for those folks. And we were cutting these, or I was cutting these one day when we were hanging out and chatting. And these, that could be a pretty little cluster of things up here too. I grabbed already from my stash a number of things that could possibly be used on this little book. So I have some stamps. I have some butterfly stickers. Oh, that stuff is cool. And then the snippet rolls. And the snippet rolls, I was going to grab a couple of these and maybe use them because this is so much wider. I was going to put one, I think, like on the inside cover or back side cover. Just for some visual interest. Now that I have my stitching, I don't want to cover it up. I could put one going this way. That would be fun to like this flap here. On this one, I put that little measuring tape sticker, which I thought was so cute. But here, maybe I can use a couple of these snippet rolls. Let me just go through them. I have a bunch of them and they're different colors, different papers, fabrics, gum wrappers. I put everything in the kitchen sink in here. This is a scrap of wired ribbon that was in my bits and bobs basket. And when I made this one, so you can find my snippet rolls have lots of different things on them, but I want to find ones that are coordinating colors if I can. The ones with the hearts won't work because the hearts are vertical, not horizontal. That one I like. No, I don't think I like that blue check on there. And I want it to be thinner. That one's really pretty. That one has a couple of little roses on the end. Okay, yeah, I think I like those two. Okay, so here, look at this one though. Hold on. Oh, I love that one. Okay, that one. And wait a minute. This one. No. This one goes here. Yep. And this one will go here. All right, just little decorative elements. And then I don't lose my stitching, which is up and down on the vertical and on the inside of the book. So we'll put those there. I just figured, I knew I was going to try to put these snippet rolls in there for some extra fanciness. And I was planning on doing this since the book is so wide, but now that I have my stitching there, I don't want to lose my stitching. So we'll do this here, and I do have to cut it. It just makes like a little fancy ruffle almost. It was what it makes me think of. And I do have to cut it to get it to fit. So I'm going to cut off that section to glue this here. Love it. Love it. Okay, where's my glue? You like them, Shauna? You guys, anybody else? Cut the cluster. Is anybody else crafting tonight? Who else is crafting? Who's hanging out in bed? Who's already in their jammies and chilling out? I know the West Coast is not so late for you, but for you guys on the East Coast, late night crafting is late. I get it. It's late. Okay, that I love. And then I want to make sure there's no wet glue here. We're going to flip it. This one's going to go here. And oh my goodness, I love the little flowers on the end. It's a little bit too long, so we're going to snip it. I'm going to snip the snippet roll, and that will not get thrown out because that's the way I roll, people. That's the way I roll. This one I'm going to throw out because there's really nothing there. But this one has fabric and rice paper behind it, and I like it too much to just throw out. So we're going to put it there. This one is darling with like a little green vintage fabric. And then these little tulle flowers on the end. Oh, so cute. So pretty. Rice paper behind it. But all of these things, every time you add something like this, it makes your book a little bulkier, a little thicker. And just be aware of that, because at some point you do get to like, oh, I can't even close my book anymore. I don't mind that in the least. It doesn't bother me in the least. I kind of like it. But that may not be your style or your desire. Okay. Pretty, right? It just adds that little bit of fabric. I think I could actually put something else. If these are going to be on the inside pockets like this, I probably could put something up in these corners, like a little butterfly or something. We'll see. That's a possibility. In the meantime, we got to figure out this front. See, look at how thick it's getting. It gets so thick. It's a thicky Mickey, as Gannon would say. I could figure out a way to glue a tie on for this too. So I really do love the cluster with this paper. It just feels a little small to me now, but if I work in some kind of tie in here, maybe instead of this, let's see, what do you guys think of those two together? Can't see that too well, can you? I'd have to like buff it with gold or something. Let's buff it. Let's get some wax. Let's make it brighter. Oh, I have these. These little wax things that I made. This one has a bumblebee. How cool would that be up there? Again, see what happens? I love texture. I love adding it, but it just adds so much bulk, you guys. It just adds so much bulk. I love chunky things in my books. And I have to be careful with this one. It's just getting too thick. It's getting a little too thicky Mickey. Okay. I've got some gold. That's brighter than this. But let me just quick see. Oh, man. I have gold and I have silver. Let's see if we can brighten this up a little with this. My husband, can you guys hear my husband? He keeps sneezing and it's really loud. Oh, yeah. Look at the difference. That's a huge difference in color. Just a little bit of gold wax. Huge difference. You wouldn't think it, but now that will show up so beautifully on there, if that's what we want to do. My poor hubby. So Landon has been dealing with cold. You guys know, those of you who've been here hanging out, he had influenza A and COVID at the same time a few weeks ago, right after Christmas, I think it was. But then, so he's over that, clearly. Thankfully, thank God, he's over it better. But now he has like a little cough. He's a wrestler. I think they just spend so much time in close contact sport. Anyway, at a high school, it is what it is. He has a little bit of a cough, nothing major, but my husband has got this cough and sneeze now. Poor man. Even though he's not the wrestler. Okay, that is very pretty. If I make room, if I didn't have this, I would put this cluster to the lower right and maybe something else in here. But because I have this and I want to put it on there, and it will go here, I'm going to move this guy over a little bit, and maybe I'll even center it and put something else up in here, make the cluster a little bigger. Now I have glue all over my hands, or like wax all over my hands. You love this book, Tony. I'm so glad. Thanks for saying so. Oh, yes, Anne says that the gold makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Yes, this gold wax. This is Pentart brand. You can get it on the site, thecomfynestwithgrace.com. You can see how this tiny little bottle will last you forever and a day if you are just doing little projects like this. It's not like we're doing all the hardware in a kitchen or something, right? So you don't need a ton of product when you think about that. When you're doing books, you don't need a ton of product to get, good results out of a small bottle like that. Okay, this stuff is mesh. Can you see that? And I thought it might be cool to work in some of this metallic mesh. So maybe I'll put a band of that behind my cluster. I could get it to go. If I put it right up to the edge of the book, will this get lost if I do that? Yes, it will. Somewhat. So what if we just did a little band of it over here, just as a backdrop for our cluster, just something extra back here because the cluster is just too small by itself. That'll work if we do that right there. I'm going to cut it right here. Again, you'll see no measuring from me. It's not my jam. Girls, I can't do it. I can't do it. Don't make me measure. Okay, what glue to use now? What glue? Double-sided glue. These rolls were from, where were they from? Stampin' Up, I think, like 15 years ago. The rolls are perfectly fine. They used to be adhesive. They used to have adhesive on the back. They are no longer sticky. That's how old they are. So I have to figure out what glue to use here. And I think I will just use my matte medium. I'll just use my matte medium because it holds everything in. It will be completely invisible once it's dry. So let's just use some matte medium. And I think I'll just use a brush to apply it. I'll just grab some of this with my little glue brush. And we decided it's going to go right about here, right? This matte medium will hold down the paper. It'll hold down the mesh. It'll hold down the metal. I can use it for all these things. So I think we're going right here. I know it's surprising, but this little bit of liquid. And the nice thing about this matte medium, it's a gel. So it will go through all these little, the little mesh of the mesh, the little holes on the mesh. It'll go through all of those. Now, the challenge I'm having now is the mesh was in a tube. It was rolled, so it wants to roll up. You see how it's like coming up off of the page? It wants to roll up off the page. So we got to just tell them, you're not the boss of me. We're in charge here. You're going to do as I say, which is stay in place. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. This will help. I'm going to glue this down. And then, oh, are you crooked, you little stinker? Lots of it. Lots and lots of matte gel. See it? Lots of it. And then I'm going to put a big, huge gob of it right here. And we're going to put this on top of here so that it stays in place. We're salvaging. We got like ruins. These are ruins that are, it's been cut off the other cover because we had to salvage. So we're going to go like this. You look crooked again, my little love. Do you talk to your projects like I do? My little love, you look crooked. Oh, I love the mesh. Now, all that white that you see, that white matte gel medium, will disappear. You will not see it once it's dry. But we got it. It's like a cement. You got to get it in between all the mesh to really make sure that your mesh doesn't pop off. You really want to get it in there, okay? Like, we're not being chintzy here. This is not the time to skimp on your supplies. Just get her in there. And the paper will help, I think, actually hold that down. Okay, got that. And then the other thing we need to do, it probably would be easier if I flattened this out this way, because I have all those bumpy signatures underneath, all this bulk here. So if I do this, it's really flat on the table. Now we got to get this little guy here. And do I want to do a tie on my cover? I am going to do a tie, but I'm not going to do it to the front. I'll do it to the back, and I'll show you how here in a second. Let me gather up some more. Lots of glue. You love the mesh, Kim? It's such a silly little thing, right? I mean, it seems like such a silly little thing to have in your stash. And you guys, there were 3 rolls when I bought this from Stampin' Up. I'm not kidding you when I tell you 15 years ago, probably. There were 3 of these rolls. One of them I've obviously used up, but I still have 2 left. So whenever you're buying supplies, like I have this thing in my head when I'm shopping and I see a little tiny bottle of something and I'm like, seriously, $7 for a tiny bottle? That just doesn't seem right. But then the tiny bottle is going to last you 5 years. So when you think of it that way, if this mesh cost me $7, $8, 15 years ago, and I'm still going strong on it, I don't need 20 rolls of it. I only need a couple. That's why I tend to go with the neutrals, because it'll last you forever, girls. I mean, how much crafting are we doing? You'd have to be like mass producing to have to worry about how many you have on hand. You know, really, like you'd have to be doing workshops or something where you're going to have 15, 20 people using the same roll of mesh. That's not me. I don't know about you, but it's not me. Okay. I need this to sit flush on there. I've got lots of glue. I've got lots of matte medium in there. See, it does not look awful. It won't look awful when it's dry. It'll be nice and good, I promise. The other challenge being that the metal is really thin, so it bends. And if it's bent at all up off of the page, which it appears to be, we need to bend it so it molds to the page. So I'm literally bending the metal, you see, underneath the paper to get it to stick to the page, because that one piece was sticking up. Okay, now here, I'm going to put a lot of this on. Same thing, we're cementing it in. This will hold this in place like crazy. I could go grab one of my other journals and show you. Let me get this in place, and then I'm going to go grab my other journal that has one of these same metal embellishments on the front, and I used matte gel to stick it on. Come on, baby. Stay there. All right, let me go grab it and I'll show you the cover of this other journal where I same exact metal on the front. Okay, girls, I gotta find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, that matte gel medium. I sell samples of it on my website at thecomfynestwithgrace.com, but you can buy big vats of it too if you want. I used this same matte gel medium. You don't have to get Liquitex. You can get any brand you want, really. It comes in glossy too. I always use matte because it dries completely clear. Like that's what's holding on this clay mold and these wings. It's holding on. Comes from the same package of metal. That piece of metal and this piece of metal came from the same package off of Amazon, and it's completely on there. Like it's like part of the book. There's no way you're getting that off. And then these are chipboard pieces. This beautiful, and this bird is chipboard pieces that I glued on with the same glue. So it works wonders. It really does work. It looks pretty ugly when you put it on now. When it's all wet, it still looks pretty darn ugly. My mesh popped off, you guys. Come on, mesh. I got to babysit this, I think, because we can't have it coming up off the page. So I'm just going to keep this close by, and we're going to work on something else while we give these 2 time to dry. This one popped off too. You know what I might have to do? I have to use a little clippy with some wax paper around it because that thing doesn't want to stay. There are ways to get your projects to behave. you just have to think your way through them. So you gotta find something that's not gonna stick. I'm working on it, girls. Hold on. Gotta come up with a solution here. Okay. This will not stick. I don't think that this will stick. It's like a slippery. We're gonna try this. You're loving it, Cheryl? Yay! I'm gonna grab a little chunk of this cellophane plastic stuff. And I'm gonna use it to clamp this on because this metal keeps wanting to come up. I hope this works, you guys. Yep, I'm gonna do this. I need a clamper. Oh, again, they're in the other room, but I have some others here. These pretty little guys. Let's grab one of these. It's a clamper. It's not meant to be a tool. It's meant to be a decorative clamper, but it'll work for a tool. It's from 49 in Market. Vintage Artistry Essential Binder Clips. They're coppery. See, this guy just does not want to stay. We're going to make you stay. We're going to make you. There you go. Now you're stuck on there. It's like making two kids dance at the middle school. You can touch her. It's okay. You guys can touch. You can hang out together. Come on. You can do it. Actually, let's do two of these clampies. There. All right. We're going to let that sit. It's like putting curlers in your hair. You got to let that sit for a while. Okay. After that, what other little jobs did we have to do here? Is there anything I can salvage here? I would love to keep this, but I think it's goner. There's nothing else really here to salvage. These little bits of paper. Whenever I make pockets in my books, particularly if they're going to go in one of my live auctions, I do, even if the pockets don't have something particular in them, I do like to put something in every pocket. And generally, I like to use the same papers in a pocket that are already in that same book, so that if somebody wants to use these to make an additional tag or another tuck spot, or if they want to use it as to make a journaling spot in the book, they have coordinating papers in the book. So that's why I generally stick in these. So these, I can put these in here too, because there's no need to get rid of them. They match what's already, see, that's the same paper. So let's stick these in the little pockets. That way, if whoever gets it would have coordinating papers to play with in their book. Yeah, this will fit back here. There. So it's decorated pretty well, actually. I do love to leave some blanks because you never know what somebody wants to do with their book. And then this one. So this was the next thing. We'll let this guy set for a few minutes. And the mesh wants to come up again. Stinker. We're just going to keep babysitting it. Okay, this one, it's decorated on the inside. That flap is beautiful and decorated, but something has to happen right here. Something's going to happen right there. So, you guys, I have projects going for the Craft Therapy Club, for the Napkin Lovers Club, for going live and hanging out with you guys. There's just so much going on my table. It's even hard to explain. Okay. That's not going to get used. These are not going to get used. I don't think this. I'm after this down here. This is paper. These are printables that I bought from Louise Hensel in her Etsy store. And there are some really interesting collages here. So I thought I would go through these because maybe, like, I love this right here. A couple of things here. You could use it as inspiration for what to do on your page. Or I was thinking I'm going to cut that out and just glue it down. This has some peachy colors in it, which is what this is. So let me just, these are all on, I printed them all on cardstock. And I think I like this right here if I can get it. This thing that looks like bubbles. I love that. There's black lace and it looks like she put a button on there. It's a digital. So I would need it to be, I need a piece that would be no bigger than like 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. I think I can get that button in. I'm going to get my paper cutter. It'll be a lot easier for me. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So let's get the 4 1/4 bit done first. We're going to use this as the cover to this. You can always add more to it, but I think it's a nice background. No, and Judy, I may not. She said you haven't stained. Let me put her comment up. She said you haven't stained many edges in this book. I may not. I'm loving the way it looks as it is. I don't really feel like a huge need for that. So I want to capture the button. Actually, all right, let's cut this down anyway, like here. Okay, that, again, won't get thrown out. We'll use it for something someday. Oh, something. Connie, good night. She says, I'm loving this book, but I got to go to bed. Good night, my dear. Okay, 4 1/4. What if I, see how she has like this scallop here? What if I fussy cut that? Wouldn't that be cute dangling off the edge to the edge of this book? If that little, wouldn't that be cute? It sure would. All right, we're going to do this. I got to get it down to 6 1/4. So let's go this way first. 6 1/4. Is that right, Grace? Now I do have to really be on, because if I want this to be the same size, oh, I would have cut it short. Oh, Gracie, it's a good thing you checked. Gracie, come on now, girl. I would have really messed that up. When in doubt, cut bigger. Because when you cut too small, then you're just forget it. Okay, we're going to cut this. This needs to be 4 1/4, but I'm going to fussy cut on the other side. So let's do this. Now, wouldn't that be cool? Like if these little scallops could be salvaged, right? Like they exist on the book. It'd take a hot minute, but so what? That would be cute. We're going to do this. See what I mean? They're not even going to be even, girls. I am so bad. Like, they're all going to be wonky. Hers are perfect. It's not Louise's paper. When I'm done with this and you see how wonky these look, it is not Louise's paper. It's the fact that I'm a lazy girl. And I'm not going to like be super like precise about this. It's just not my style. I don't care that much about being precise. If you're a perfectionist, that will drive you crazy. But I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I really have learned to let go of these little minor things that in the end, nobody really cares. Nobody cares. They're not even. They're wonky. They're misshaped. Nobody cares. Oh, yeah. So cute, though. So cute to have that. And then you have your little peach sticking out in the back. All right, good. That's good stuff right there. Okay, it's just a tish long. So let's take a tish off, as my quilting instructor would say. Take off a tish at a time, so you don't goof anything up here. Okay, girls, look at that. Loving it. This won't get thrown out because that's like, I don't know why, but that's some goodness right there. When I'm done with the project, what I always do, like, I'll finish the project. I go out and say hi to my family, let my husband know I'm done, check in with everybody, say goodnight to the kids if they're still up. And then I come back in here and I start organizing and rearranging everything, putting things away. and that will not get thrown out. It's just too good. This is popping up again, and the glue is drying though. So I'm going to come in and give it a little coaching, a little push down. I'm going to shove it around a little bit. I'm going to put a little more glue under here and on my fingers to get that to stay down. And you're doing good. All right, we did our little check-in. Now we can glue this down. For this, you know what? I'll just use I've got my tacky glue out, so let's just use it. And like I said, you could always add more texture to it, but honestly, I don't have a lot of room for extra texture in this book. It's getting pretty fat, pretty thick, pretty chunky as it is. So what I'm trying to do with this glue, I don't want any high beads of glue, so I use the tip and I'm spreading it out and pushing it around so that I'm not leaving any high mounds of glue, if that makes any sense. I don't want it three-dimensional glue. This glue will dry quickly, and if you don't flatten it out, a lot of people will use a paintbrush actually. If you don't flatten it out, it's going to show mounds of glue through your project, and I don't like the way that looks. So I try to make sure. Oh my gosh, I like this little cover. And this little button is sticking out just slightly from the cover, which is very cool, I think. You think what you want, girls. I think that's pretty cool. It gives me a little flipper. I'm going to make sure you're stuck down there, though. Did I get enough glue? Uh-oh. I missed a corner. Girls, imagine that. Matte Gel Medium to the rescue. There we go. All right, that's done. The back, let's see. We could put something in here, like another cluster or something. It just have to be so careful not to put too much weight in here, because there's just not enough room. What if we did one of Louisa's flowers in here? That one's too big. That one's a better size. And what if we layered like maybe 2 of these? She has some leaves too, but they're chunky. They're chunky monkeys. That's pretty too. Oh, I like that one even better. I was going to layer a couple of them, but maybe I'll just not, for the sake of... I think I fussy cut one of these things out, you guys. It almost killed me the other night. Remember I told you I didn't think I was going to go through the effort of cutting all those out? I got one. All right, we'll use the one that I did in here. Let's just use it. All right, listen, we already have this paintbrush going, so let's just do it this way. Can you believe it? I did cut one out, girls. All right, we're going to use our matte gel medium here. I'm going to use this as part of my little embellishment in there. It's pretty. So pretty. And then here we have this like fantastic butterfly pocket. I don't even think, well, there's that extra piece that came off of the cover. How fun would that be to just pop in there? Let's do it. Listen, girls, we don't throw anything out. This is, when you hang out with me for a day, you're going to start realizing, oh my God, it's like a washi tape almost. It's like just like this little edging that I can put here. And it's slightly longer, but I'll just cut it once it's down. Then I will, I'll go ahead and cut it. I keep switching glues. Let's get it down and I'll cut off the edges that are too long. Cheryl just finished her dinner. Oh, what did you have? She's in California. We got the East Coast girls are heading to bed. Good night, girls on the East Coast. California's just finished supper. Cheryl, do you have anything yummy? Thanks, Tony. She says this is so pretty. Thank you, Tony. All right, I'm going to stick this. Remember, I'm so excited. I get to use it in this book. So it's a flat piece of cardstock. This actually will serve us very well because this book has gotten so chunky. It is sticking out just a tish right there. So I'm going to use my scissor. And it would be easier for me to approach it the other way, but I can't. I'm a righty. I got to go that way. Okay. So there's that. And that's just enough on that page. And then we have some blank space for doodling or gluing tickets into or whatever. Now this is very wet. This part is very wet because of all the glue that I used on the back of this. So you can even see it's buckling a little bit. See that? It's just a little puckered. That will even itself out. Once it's dry, what I do, if that ever happens to your paper projects, it puckers up because of the wet glue. Once it's dry, just lay it flat and put it under some really heavy books and it will flatten back out, I promise you. So don't ever let that like hinder you from doing a project or hold you back. Tony, thanks for the compliment. You like that extra piece's edging? Isn't it fun? Ooh, veggie fried rice. Cheryl, that sounds good. Just checking comments real quick. With something that doesn't want to lay flat, could you just put craft mat on top and then a book? Yes, yes, yes. Missy, do it. Do it. A craft mat would be even better because you know that's not going to stick. This, I'm not so sure. This is a test. Let's see if it's sticking because the glue is drying. Oh, it held it down enough so that it's flat, but the glue is still wet on that cellophane. But look, it held it down. It held it on there and it's nice and flat on there. So I'm going to just leave it alone like this now to dry. Yes, but absolutely. I think that's a really good idea, Missy. Something that that metal is really bendy. It's really thin metal. So it's very bendy. So until you get it, like this is the same from the same set. So watch this wing. I did not glue down the edges of the wings and watch. I can like totally bend this metal. That's how thin it is. It's very bendy. So once it's on your project, it's not going to go anywhere once it's flat. But the challenge, if you had any bend in it when you started gluing it down, it's going to want to bend back up out of the wet glue. So that's a great idea, Missy. Put your glue down, put your metal down if it's bendy or anything like that. Like our mesh, it's in a circle. It was stored in a tube, so it's got this round shape to it that it wants to default to. Glue your mesh or your bendy metal, and then a craft mat would be perfect because it's not going to stick to it too well. And I would kind of babysit it in the fact that this is not completely dry, and you can tell because the glue is still white. So take off, give it some time to set, but take the mat, the craft mat or the cellophane or whatever off before it's completely dry. That way it doesn't, when you pull it up, it's going to want to stick a little bit. When you pull it up, you don't want to pull up your embellishment at the same time. But you can see this is drying now. You can see less of the white, and what we'll be left with is just that metallic mesh there. So let's do a little flip through, even though we're kind of wet still. We got our cover. Maybe we'll end up doing a dangly here. I'm not sure yet. We've got our string. I'm going to leave that until I make a decision about, I have metal embellishments that I could use there to dangle. So we'll see about that. But we have this on the cover. I could put a word too. This is why I always say, like, it's always a work in progress. You don't have to decide everything in one sitting. You can see how I do these in part 1, part 2, part 3. Sometimes it takes me part 4 and 5 to really feel like I'm done with it. Don't ever be afraid to keep coming back to a project like this because you'll know when it's done. you'll know, you'll feel it. Like, yeah, that's all I want to do with that. Excuse me. Sometimes, like, I'm not sure. I feel like I could put a word here or a phrase here, but I'm not sure. So I'll just leave it for now. Next time I come back to the book, I'll take a good look over at it. My brain will have been reset by that point. I won't be so tired and I'll have fresh eyes on it. But for now, I'm liking that the way it is. We got our little ruffle here, which I love. And then we have this little tab pocket card, like journaling card there, or you could put a picture on there, whatever you wanted. And then let's flip. Look at pockets, pockets, pocket, pocket. Lots of tuck places here for tucking things away. There's another one right here. And then back here we have this little snippet roll that was sewn. So there's some threading in there. And then this book will live in here. So that's quite pretty. But you can see, look at how thick it got when you start loading them up. Oh, it's so hard for me to do these little books because I just want to keep loading them with pretties. I just want to keep putting pretty things in them. So for the closure, I was thinking what I would do is put an eyelet here. But I'm not going to finalize that until all this glue is dry. I can't really work with it anyway until this glue is completely dry. So that will have to be a part 3. I was thinking about putting a little eyelet, setting an eyelet in here, a grommet. Do you call it a grommet or an eyelet? In here, so that I could string some string through there or ribbon, and that would be my tie closure for the entire book. So I won't do danglies. I won't do the eyelet closure until everything's dry. And once this is dry, I won't do it now, but once it is dry off camera, let me get my face back on here so you guys can see me. Once it is dry off camera, what I'll do is I will put these 2 things that have kind of puckered up a little bit from the wetness of the glue under something heavy to really try to flatten them out. And that will make them easier to work with and easier to store later on when you want to put them up on a shelf or something. Katana says this is one of her favorites. Woo-hoo! I'm so happy to hear that. So lovely, Diana says. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for the kind words, the kind compliments. It always makes my heart swell. Literally, it makes my heart swell. It makes me so happy to hear that you like what we're doing. And I absolutely love having your company here. I love when I ask you questions like, what do you think I should do? And you answer. It just makes my heart so happy. So thanks for being here while I create. Joyce says, sometimes you see something and think that would have looked nice on the page I did last week. Nice that you can just go back and add it to whatever you want. There's no time limit. Oh, yes. I love that comment. Love it, Joyce. There is no time limit. You can come back to these books and do whatever you want. Like this is a completed art journal, right? So this book completed. Like all of the pages are full in here, all of the pages. There's not a single page left to do anything on. But I could see, if you wanted to, it's totally up to you. Let's get rid of this comment here. If you come into a page and you think, oh, I want to add something to it. I want to sew some details in here. I want to, like say you got a sewing machine and you didn't have one before and you want to add some sewing details. You just stick this under your machine and add some sewing details if you want to. But you don't have to. You don't have to. There's no time limit. You can always pull your books off the shelf and add to, like this doesn't have a phrase or anything. It doesn't have any writing on it. I loved it when I did it, just the way it was. But that doesn't mean it has to be done. I think it would be really fun to add some sparkle to those butterflies, some shimmer of some sort. This is one of my favorite pages I've ever done. I did this live with you guys. It is literally one of my favorite pages ever done. I don't know why. I just really love it. Some of them are real simple and some of them were more elaborate and took longer. Some are really muted and you can't tell what the focal point is. And some of them, the focal point is really obvious. So books are just, they're your space to play and to write and to dream and to commemorate things and memorialize pictures and photos of your grandkids or your grandparents or your family tree or whatever the heck you want to do in them. That's what is so fantastic about working in books. So this little mini book, it's a mini. This really couldn't become an art journal. It's just too small and frail. But it's a great little pocket journal or gift journal. I always think of it like an elaborate, if you were going to gift it to somebody, I think of it like an elaborate greeting card that is a gift in itself because you put so much time and effort into putting it together. So have fun creating. Always make things that bring your heart joy. Hey, Jeanette, we're just finishing up. The ice cream cones. The ice cream cones. I think the ice cream cones was a challenge in foil. Let's get back to it. Yeah, this was a foil page. This is foil and glitter. Friends, that's what we got going on there. Glitter on the ice cream cones, but the green foil, this is foil here that we added. It says, I don't mean to brag, but I finished my 14-day diet in 3 hours and 12 minutes. Well, one of my little snarky comments on there. Oh, isn't that pretty? Ooh. See, I can do bright, girls. I can do bright. I actually really love bright things. I love vintages equally well, though. I can't pick. It's too hard to pick. You're welcome, Miss Cheryl. Thanks for saying thank you. You're welcome, Janet. You guys have a beautiful, blessed night. Thanks for being here. If you appreciated what we did today and you think that you know someone who might enjoy it, please hit that share button. It means the world to me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're following on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that follow button. It really does help to support us small business owners. Much love to all of you. Have a beautiful, blessed night of sleep. Bye.